Alright, no fancy footwork here. It was just a matter of wiggling this piece up until it could finally slide over this little nipple here, and then taking both pieces off. Now this piece here, you want it facing this direction. You want that kind of mouth end there pointing towards the back of the gun. Alright, next step, you might have noticed it was off. That's because I just cleaned it, but this little bracket right here, if you can see it, that needs to come off next. That's actually a stop for the slide there. Alright, now I don't know, oh yeah, it'll come off. There we go. Tiny little screwdriver helps a lot in these situations. Now this one, that little point there, you get in the contrast there, that little point there you want towards the front of the gun, and it'll actually go, it's very hard to see down in there, on, see just the underside of my finger, right in that little slot there. It'll only really fit in one place. Now next step, so you flip it over. Now it's got spring tension against it, so you're probably going to have to fight it a little bit. But the next step is, the way I like to do it is I stick my finger in here, push it back, and then that little nipple there pops out, just like that. That's actually a feature of the gun. You push it in when you want to put it away, pull it out, that way it's easier to grab onto. But if I can sort of show you here. This slides out. Now that's the final retainer. That right there is the final retainer. Set that up there, and then the slide will come completely out. And you can see down in there, there's two springs. Now those are on a kind of a guide rod plate that's in the bottom of the back of the gun there. They might come out with it, they might not. It just depends. Sometimes you have to fight with them. Slide. And it just slides out the end. There's no fancy work there. But there's your slide there. You can see your two springs down in there. Since I already cleaned it, I'm not going to worry about pulling it out. It's just two springs and a guide plunger in there. Alright, and then this is just a body. There's no, other than leaving those springs in there, there's no mechanisms in there. It might be a good idea for something like this, if you have enough, to just let it soak in solvent and let that solvent eat all the dirt away. I might actually go ahead and do that, since I've cleaned this a couple times, but I can still hear grit inside the gun. But I'll show you reassemble in the next video. Oh, and by the way, because I forgot to mention it, this is, you probably can't read, you can read that part of it. This is actually a USA Charter Arms AR-7 Explorer 22 caliber, if anybody was interested. And no, it's not for sale. Alright, now that we got her completely torn apart, your basics of cleaning are just like cleaning anything else. You just use different stuff to do it. Alright, first you have your solvent. Hops number 9's good stuff. Walmart that sells anything firearms related, not just guns. If they sell anything firearms related, they'll have Hops number 9 gun solvent. Your gun oil, I like two different types. Your liquid type, this is just Outer's gun oil. I've had it forever. It keeps well, soaks well. Your aerosol type, which I got from Walmart. It's a Remington brand. And a good non-shaggy, I guess, type rag that'll soak oil very well. I've used this one quite a bit. That's kind of the original color. That's the color now. Good and soaked with oil. I recommend keeping it in a Tupperware bowl, and every time you use it, squirt some oil on it after you're done. Let it soak in that oil. You want this rag good and thoroughly soaked. Wipe down every surface. If you have massive amounts of grit, you soak it. Spray it out if you can. As you can see, there's a lot of tight spaces that would be hard to get to, so that's why you soak it in solvent. But I pretty well got this one put back together good. So, the next step is, oh, by the way, that's what your springs and plunger look like. Plastic cap with 2 rods on it. As you can see, this gun actually has a bent spring, but it's far enough down it shouldn't affect it. So, it just slides in the end here. Oh, shit. Alright. And the 2 springs slide into 2 holes on the back there. Slide it down until you can push back in the lock plunger there. Just like that. Alright, next step, I can do this one-handed, is this little, I don't know what this thing's called. I think it's some kind of retainer, but I was not able to find out what it was called. You slide in there like so. Kind of see it laying in there. Then we'll go ahead and do our magazine eject. The way I do it, the easiest way I found anyway, is find a hole here. Alright. Slide it on first, like so. Then take your spring, set it in its little spring cup, and then just slowly push back and push down. It's not as hard as you think. Alright, this next step, again, it's sliding this into there, but I got to do it with this spring on it, and it's definitely a two-handed job. So